The negotiations have been ongoing from the very beginning of the conflict, and we all remember the case of negotiations in Istanbul that almost reached a conclusion back in the spring of 2022, just 2 months into the conflict. Yet at the same time, we see that the positions of the parties are really hard to move. Let's say, because for Zelensky, who has done quite a lot of not strategic moves, let's put it that way, it's a suicide to anyway. I mean, his situation is suicidal anyway because the war cannot be won at the battlefield because he's receiving more and more pressure from within and from the outside, and because whatever happens, it's a suicidal track for him as a politician, as a political figure, as a human being, maybe, right? So that's why he finds himself in a trap when he has to be very tricky about his own decisions and his own rhetorics, because we all also remember that he was the one to sign a decree that that said that any kind of negotiation with Russia was outlawed, and then he had to kind of cancel that. And then he had to be tricky about it, saying that it was supposed to be applied to anyone but himself, which led to a couple of, quite comic situations several months ago when there were attempts to roll out this whole Twitter diplomacy and whatsoever else. So the process was always there. Sometimes it was tragic. Sometimes it was ridiculous. Yet at the same time, there were attempts to still hold the communication channels open and to still try to find ways to come up with a clear and balanced deal that would consider both actual interests and the situation on the ground. Yet at the same time, we see that the ones holding that position of fighting till the last Ukrainian are the European leaders that have cancelled the peace deal that could have been ratified back in April 2022, and that are pushing for escalation of the conflict now, increasing the risks of the conflict being, let's say, broader and wider. And they're trying to push countries like Finland, countries like Estonia into escalation and into, let's say, provocations, in order to still have a chance to restart their own political system and economy by righting a lot of the problems and a lot of the issues that have been piling up to the water that that is supposed to forgive all the mistakes in the policies that were being made and all the bad decisions that were made, because we see that probably in the eyes of the European leaders, the only thing that can actually save Europe from falling apart economically, in terms of infrastructure and politically, is a game changer, and a major game changer such as a war. And here, that's why we see that they're trying to stick to this kind of rhetorics as much as they can and push Ukraine into the very same thing. And going back to the question of negotiations, there, as I highlighted, there was always something happening within this track. But I think now we have moved towards a more realistic solution situation, because of course the change of policies that came about with Trump administration comparing to the Biden administration is really creating much more chances for a peace deal and for a solid, realistic peace deal to come into action shortly. And I think we're counting months rather than years as we used to be, because the conflict that could have been over once again back in April 2022 is now taking longer than the Great Patriotic War. itself. So the biggest war Russia faced recently, the Great Patriotic War, which was a part of the World War II, was lasting less time than this conflict we're facing with Ukraine right now.